The architect of the Cookout, joining us on the Secret Alliance podcast. Hey, Tiffany.
Well, hello, Jason.
And Rachel's going to join us in a minute. This is huge.
I can't wait
to have you here and to talk about not only the celebrity season that's going on now, but your season, because we saw history made, and the Cookout did what you set out to do very early on in the game. How did that feel when you walked out of the house and you realized what you had really done?
It was overwhelming. It was definitely mind blowing. In the house, I kept saying to myself, I wonder if this is as historic to people as it is to me, like if it means something to everyone else. I knew it definitely meant something to the six of us. I've been a huge fan of Big Brother for a long time. So being in the moment.
How long, Tiffany? How long have you been watching?
Like 10 years. And so even when I started watching, I did not just start watching. I know it's been on for 20 years. I actually went back and watched all of the old seasons. I was like, oh, I can't just start in the middle, because they referenced previous players and they start talking about previous gameplay. And I'm like, yeah. I don't like to be left out of anything. I am nosy. I need to know. So I had to go back. And so I went back and watched it all and then caught up and then started watching the current seasons as they were playing. So to be in the house was already just a dream come true, but to realize that I was in the moment that history was being made, I was like, and not just in the moment, because we all of the Big Brother 23 cast was in the moment of the history being made, but I was a part of making the history. And I was just like, this is what I live for. I like live for a street to be named after me, Tiffany Mitchell Boulevard, Tiffany Mitchell Road, Tiffany Mitchell Avenue, Tiffany Mitchell Highway. And here I'm like, still young enough that I'm making history and I get to see it play out. And even to some people are like, oh, that's just reality TV or whatever. That's fine. It was my moment and I loved it. Love being a part of it and coming out and seeing the reaction from everyone. Julie's reaction, the producers, fans, my family, my friends. It was a very proud moment. And I'm not a real prideful person. It takes a lot for me to be like, yeah, I'm proud of that. I really just try to remain humble, because it's always something new happening tomorrow. So you can only be proud for like a minute, but I was very proud of the moment. Definitely.
Yeah. And we've seen on Celebrity Big Brothers, we've been watching the feeds. Mariah made mention of the Cookout. There's been talk of the Cookout, and then and we're going to get to all of the current situation, whatever's happening in the house. And it's so fast. This pace is so quick. You just about can't keep caught up. By the time we record one of these and post it, it's already been another eviction or two.
Absolutely.
But,
yes.
Yeah. But to hear Mariah say to Julie Chen, the Cookout meant something to her and it impacted her as she watched that season. What does that feel like, Tiffany?
I am not a very sensitive person, but there are certain things that just really touch my heart. And immediately when she mentioned the Cookout in her speech, it made me realize just how many people we have reached, and the impact that we made to the people who watched and observed. My little heart, like I felt my little heart like thriving, like, oh my gosh, someone who to me is just way bigger than me and Big Brother, was impacted, felt the difference and understood the mission, and also was able to place herself in a situation where she could relate to how we felt in that moment, what we did, why we did. And representation just does make such a huge difference. I was so honored that she respected and acknowledged the Cookout, but my heart also went out to her because she was in the shoes of so many people who came before the cookout. You know, the cookout stands on the backs of all of the other Big Brother players who did not make it to where we made it to, who did not have someone in there with them supporting and backing and helping them along. So I fully understood where Mariah was coming from, saying, there's no one in here like me. I feel alone. I don't feel that I have the support. We know what she felt. We know what she meant. And I can say I don't really know what she felt because I was luckily on a season that did have other representation like myself, but there were so many other seasons of Big Brother where I know that people that look like me felt alone.
Yeah. Well, it was a huge impact. And I'll just say, you know, you guys probably got a little heat, and maybe there were people who didn't love it, but I think by and large, most people watched and went, this is remarkable. That an alliance, first of all, could stay together and make it their final six. And the way that you guys watched each other and had each other's back and were such a strong team and more of a family even. It was inspiring to watch, and brilliant gameplay, and kudos to the way you created those side alliances. Was that your idea too, as part of the whole cookout strategy?
Yeah, that was the big thing, was the side alliances, the pairs, because we were being targeted. I do want to go back to something you said about how we operated and maneuvered as a family. That's really what it was. It wasn't, you know, people who don't understand are like, oh, you guys targeted people who were white or targeted people who were not Black, or it was all, and it wasn't about that. It wasn't, it was, we knew that we had not had a Black winner, and what justice would it do me to go after people who look like me and let's not even get further ahead, you know? And so the only way we stuck together was we had to accept each other as family, and families do fight, and they don't always agree, and they don't get along, and they lie to each other. And hey, I've gotten kicked out of my family's house before, so it happens.
That's great, Tiffany.
So, you know, we were like, but hey, you know, like my family were like, come back next Sunday, we'll do it again.
Yeah. Oh man. And there were some times it got a little tense. You and Derek F. Azah, there were moments where, as a family does, you have a little moment where you have to sort of lay it all on the line, and you got to have those tough conversations.
You do. Yeah. And you know that regardless, we're still family after this. It doesn't make us, because we don't agree today, it does not make us enemies tomorrow. It doesn't, you know. So, but that pairing, it started because duos were being targeted. It was Christian and Alyssa. Frenchie had this big thing out for Christian and Alyssa because they're a duo. And then next thing I know, Claire and I'm like, Claire, we're a duo. And so one of my things in life, one of my strategies in life is just to find the positive in the negative. Okay, you're looking at this as a negative, but how can I make this negative look like a positive? How can I put a positive spin on it? And I was like, hey, why don't we make everybody a duo? The way I look at it, Sarah Beth and Kai are a duo. And I'm like, hey, this is what we need to do. Everyone is a duo from now on. So no one's any better than the other here.
And it was really powerful television to watch the friendship that you built with Claire, and to see on your HOH, your very good friend go home.
That is so disheartening. It's very, you know, and
we saw it and we felt it with you, Tiffany.
It was because in the game, you don't know how your life is going to look like outside of the game. But even today, I still have side effects from the game. You still think about the way things played out in the game. I'm telling you, Kyland and I can never be in the same room. And I failed to mention, but yeah, you kicked me out. So it's kind of unfair, because that could mean Claire feels the same way about me, but I'm like, but no, that's different.
Yeah. No, I know. I've had to say sorry, and I've said it on the podcast and in real life to my buddy Marcellus, because you know, I was the reason that he went home. You should have used the veto. So You should have used the veto. I said it, but you know, you do feel horrible. You know, it's a game, but it's very different than playing Monopoly or Uno with your buddies when, you know, you're in this kind of situation here.
Because it's real life.
Hey, Tiffany.
Hi, Rachel.
Late, you guys.
I know you've got a lot on your plate. Yeah, she's mom extraordinaire, mom entrepreneur. Is that what they call? You know, you're.
Hey, girl.
I mean, you are. She's casting shows, doing everything.
I thought you were talking about me. I thought you were talking about Tiffany. I was like, yes, she is.
She's doing it all too. But telling Tiffany here all about your life.
Yeah.
So we've talked about the cookout, but here's something that now that we've got Rachel here, I want her to hear what you have to say as your reaction, Tiffany, when you heard Julie say, "You are America's favorite player." How did that feel?
Oh my God. Y'all saw my face. I was like, what? You in that house, and you guys know you have no idea how America perceives you. And it's like, I didn't know if they liked me or not. I just knew I love Derek X. And I didn't know anybody who did not love Derek X. So I'm like, it's so funny because Derek and I are in the jury house talking about what he's going to buy me with his AFP money. And he's like, what do you want, Tiff? He's like, can I buy you a trip? Can you want me to buy you a watch? I was like, why don't you buy me a house? I need like a house. He was like, wait a minute, I don't think it's that much. So we were really serious about it. And so I didn't know how close it would be. But when Julie was like, it was between me and him, I was like, are you kidding? Is America that crazy? I was like, I'm like, there are people out here who identify with me. They like me. I was so shocked, but I felt like, thank you so much that somebody saw that I was out here playing Big Brother. I am a Big Brother fan. I have voted for America's favorite player every season that I have watched. So I know what it's like to want to watch Big Brother and say like, that's definitely a fan favorite. That's my favorite player right there. And so I was glad to see that America acknowledged that I had some Big Brother in me that deserved to be acknowledged, because the house definitely kicked me out and didn't let me win.
Oh, are you kidding? We were obsessed with you. We were rooting for you every week. Jason and I were in here talking about how Tiffany's got to win this. We need her in that house. Like, everyone loved you.
And there were some weeks that we were nervous that even inside the cookout, because of little bits of drama and things that were happening, that oh no, this is not going to go well for Tiffany. And everyone stayed together as a family until it was time for, you had the cookout at final six to say, all right, best player win this game. And I got to say, though, your strategy and your gameplay was phenomenal. I would like to see you play again. I kept hoping that in Celeb, they were going to have a few Big Brother celebrities and then some celebrities from the entertainment world. How cool would that have been?
That would have been interesting.
Would you
Well,
do
they'll
it?
do that eventually. I hope they do it soon, because they're going to have to do it.
I know.
Rachel, will you play again?
A Big Brother, you know, I would have been on All Stars, but I was pregnant. So I don't know, because it's just such a hard decision for me to go. It's so long, and you know how it is with kids. It's like, I think when they're young, especially when they're young. And I would love to play again. Like, that would be my ultimate dream, to go in that house. Like, I'm so obsessed with the game. I feel like everyone's my family. Like, I would love to get in there and compete again, but I just don't know, realistically, how I could make it work. But, maybe it will be shorter, 6 weeks.
Expect the unexpected, as Julie always tells us, right? So, Tiffany, you said Derek X was coming up with these ideas of what he was going to buy you if you won America's favorite player, but then you won it. Did you get something for him?
Oh. Huh?
I think we lost the connection. The connection's breaking up.
Okay.
Oh, I was
Jason, did you ask me a question, Jason? Did you? No. So when we left the Big Brother house, we all were supposed to go in on this Airbnb. A couple of people sent me a couple of dollars. I was like, don't worry about it. So we were
that's awesome.
Airbnb in LA, and I footed the bill for that. So I hope that was my way. But you know what? Because I don't want to say I'm
Well,
older than them,
but when you think about it, though, this was not the grand prize money. This is a nice start for you, as you walk out of the Big Brother house to take this and to do something and to look toward the future.
Mom.
Yes,
when you're a mom, it's different.
Yeah.
But when I'm out with them, I really do treat. Like, I hardly let people.
No, you did it once. That's enough.
I always treat
it's
them.
over.
Yeah.
Split the bill. Come on.
Hey, where's your credit card?
So, Tiffany, are you back now in Detroit, back in your same career? You were a phlebotomist, if I remember.
So they titled me as a phlebotomist, but I actually am a business owner. I have my own phlebotomy business. So by trade, I'm a phlebotomist, but I stepped out of working as a phlebotomist and branded my own company. And so I have a mobile phlebotomy company that I employ phlebotomists that go out in the Michigan area and collect laboratory. They collect blood work for patients and doctors and labs. I get contracts to staff phlebotomists. And so by trade, I am a phlebotomist, but I tried to retire my needle,
It's a tough job. I felt like, though, there were, if I remember correctly, a few little we're going to draw blood here references that you made in the diary room.
I come for blood. Now, listen, I get a little withdrawals if I'm not drawing any blood. I'm serious. So I like to keep my needle in the workings, but It was, I think it was the fact that I have staff and I do have to play Big Brother with them. Like, I've got to make them feel good and I've got to make them like me, but I also have to have them just respect me a little bit. But it's just playing Big Brother. I play Big Brother all day long, just trying to get people to do what I want them to do, what I need them to do, making them feel like this is what they should be doing and they want to do it too. Oh my God.
Look at this. We always have a little one join us. Hi, bud.
Look at those cheeks, girl.
I know. He always wants to come in and just say hello. And I'm sorry to interrupt you guys.
Don't let me.
And then is that Angel in the background?
And this is
got
my
the dog.
Yeah. I don't know why. Anytime I do something, hey, look at, say hi to Tiffany and Jason. Say hi.
I am a biter, Rachel. I bite cheeks. I don't know. I could live for hey,
look, he loves it.
Look at it.
You like it. You like it. Oh yeah.
He loves it. Now you're
He's on board. So cute. We love it. It's just kind of, I'm sitting in my kitchen. Everybody's just kind of, this family feel, which is what Big Brother is all about. I love that Tiffany's backdrop is the diary room. I've been on before we started, Rachel. I was like, how did you get this? I want this backdrop. That's amazing.
I got to tell Rachel, though, it is so funny. So I was like, the whole time I'm in the house and we were cracking jokes like, yeah, remember Rachel had her moment under the stairs? I'm like, that will never, under the bush. I'm like, that will never happen to me. I will not be in here crying. Like, what the heck was wrong with her? She said, no, I don't want to come out. Honey, when Kai beat me in that donkey suit and name that croon, I was under the stairs. I was mad as hell. I said, look at karma. Look at me over here acting like Rachel. And then here comes X is like, Tiff, you okay? I'm like, don't come over here. Don't talk to me. I don't want to talk right now.
I love that. I was always rooting for you. Like, when that happened, like, I feel like we were crying with you and I'm so emotional too. So I'm like, oh my God, it's the moment in the house. I knew exactly what you're going through. It's like, you're going home and you're just like, forget it.
Yeah, we talked about it here on the podcast. We said that very same thing. Rachel said, I know what's happening here. I had that moment. I love that it wasn't lost on you, Tiffany, that you were like, oh, here we go. Same.
Oh, it's so funny. And that's why I don't even argue with fans. Fans have so much to say. They always are critiquing how we're playing in the house. You can sit outside of a situation and say what you would do if it was you in that situation. Until you are in that situation, you don't really know. Listen, before I went into the house, because you guys, we never know if we're going or not. But when I started to feel like they might come get me, I was on Twitter like, delete that. Oh, you said that about somebody? Delete that because that could be you. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
I thought about it I almost was like, just delete the whole Twitter, because I only had Twitter for Big Brother. That was it. So when I would tweet about everybody's game. So you just don't ever know. And I was like, it's Rachel under the stairs. This is Rachel under the bushes. She crying like, girl, come out of those bushes. I could not come from up under the stairs. I was like, let me be under these stairs for a minute.
And once you're on the show, you never take it personally. Now, people like say that all the time. They're like talking about me, and I'm like, listen, just wait.
Yeah.
You do it. You do it and tell me.
Right.
Right. Exactly. No,
Yeah, it's
so
very
fun.
easy. It's like watching a sport, and you sit on the sidelines, or you're seeing it on TV, and you could be that armchair quarterback. But if you were really in that game, it's so different. And what I think is always interesting is to see a contestant come back, Rachel, with you seasons 12 and then 13, and to win it, or people to come back for an all-star season. It is always a different game. And so your house was different than season 13's house, and the season before you and the season after you. And that's why it's so hard to judge somebody with their gameplay or what happened to them, and why maybe this person who had been a powerhouse as a player, they come in and this new cast as an all-star season, and they just don't click with anybody, and they're first one out. You understand it because you've lived in it.
How the set, everything's the same, but it's never the same.
No.
The game is never the same. Like
Never.
I'm still confused.
Well, I'm like, what about celebrity? I feel like now they're like cutthroat this season. Like the first 2 seasons they were playing, but like this season they are like cutthroat. Like I would not want to be in there with Misha. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
People who know the game a little bit.
I think that's what it is.
They know the game. They were gaming in their minds before they got in the house. And so they had some strategies. I don't think other celebrities had as much interest or knowledge about the game. So they were just trying to figure it out, don't know how to vote, voting like Big D, sadly Tui votes, so. Who
has surprised you the most, Tiffany? Like from the celebrities?
Yeah.
Let's see. Surprise me in what way? I guess just
like, do you think like going into the house, like who has surprised you like with their game knowledge or playing?
I really wish I would have drafted Shayna. I didn't expect her to play so well. I thought she might bring a little drama. I didn't know that she's really playing, to me, a good game, and she's competitive. I like it. I'm like, damn, why didn't I get her? Todrick is surprising. No, Todrick's not surprising me. Todrick, he's not.
No, I predicted Todrick would play because he's a fan of the game, and like he lived with you guys for what, 2 weeks, or you lived with him for 2 weeks or something?
Well, we lived at his house, but he wasn't there so much.
Okay.
And then you guys know you can't really give anybody advice. Like there's no advice you can give, because like we said, every game is different. Every house you enter is different. You have to, it's your instincts and your experiences that help you move forward in this game. I will say I'm not surprised at how he's playing, but I did tell him my own strategy was STFU. I knew going into the house, I told myself, shut up, girl, shut up.
That's hard to do, because there are times every single person who's walked in that house wants to tell somebody what they're really thinking in those moments of just ready to vent, and or to say, this is why I need to do this thing and this move. And sometimes you're right. You just have to be quiet, and you got to listen and sort of nod and play along, and then do what you need to do.
Hey, I've learned a couple of little phrases to just say, you're right about that. Oh, okay. Okay goes a long way.
It does. I didn't agree with you. I'm acknowledging I heard that. I hear you.
Oh,
I hear you is a good one.
You're making a great point. Great point. It's the oh yeah, okay, I like what you're saying, because I was just thinking about that like 3 days ago. I thought about that when I was talking to this person, and when they told me, I'm like, Too many words, too many sentences, too many run-ons.
Yeah.
Just okay is enough.
Mhm.
But you know, I'll tell
That
you
is so true.
Kirkpatrick.
Yes.
When I was watching him, my respect level went up for him. It was on the live feed. He was having a very long conversation with Misha, but I respected his concept and his understanding of the game. It was during her conversation with him where she was like, make the video for your son. He's like, no, I'm not making the video for my son. And he's like, hey, I didn't come here to enjoy the HOH room. I didn't come here to get letters from home and pictures from home. I remember when that moment clicked for me in the house. We were in sequester for so long, and then we were in the house and I hadn't won anything. And I'm like, hey, I want to win HOH so I can get a letter, so I can get a picture. And then when I still wasn't winning, I was hurt by not doing that. And I was like, hey, you didn't come in this house to get letters and pictures from home. You could have stayed home. You came here to win. And so forget the pictures, forget the letters. Winning HOH gives you power. That's what you want. And so I really respected that his concept and understanding for playing the game was to be in the game. And there, he surprised me. I was like, wow, here I am over here like, okay, Kirkpatrick, all right.
Yeah.
All right, and sync. Do a
I
little
love
dance.
that the Twitterverse created this little name for him because it's so hard to reference Chris Kattan, Kirkpatrick, so they called him Chris Sink. They've just made it one word. I love it. And now because he and Shayna have this really tight bond, I've tried to come up with like some name for the celebrity couple duo, but I got nothing. So I hope they'll name their alliance. And have I missed that on the feeds? But I've seen a lot of game talk between them, and I really think that they are making some strategic moves, and they are, when they need to, winning competitions. I want to do this real quick just to get you up to speed. If you're not, we're recording on a Thursday, and we've got the next live show with the eviction on Friday. The big spoiler here, close your ears if you don't want to know something, but big news, we've got somebody out of the game. Chris Kattan left the house it looks like on Wednesday. He's out. Yeah, he's gone. So don't know how that's going to play out with the vote and the eviction on Friday. So when he was at the eviction where Mariah eventually went home, and he said, send me, my time here is done. I mean, he was really, I now knowing, making a plea to these house guests, like, please let me go.
He was. I understand that he was in a lot of pain. I could tell the pain he was in. I also think he was a little out of his element. And I respect the celebrities taking time out of their busy, fantastic, fabulous lives to come and play this regular, normal person people game. But all of them at some point are like, I want to go home. And I'm like, how did you get here? You hear the intros, I bust my butt. I had to work so hard. I know you had to work hard to get to where you are, but it's like, it's such a nice life that they live on the outside. They're like, I want to go home. Oh, to live so nicely. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Well,
I think the thing that's tough is
sick?
I was just going to say about Mariah. I feel like it's tough watching that and go, that could be Mariah still in the game, and she's hungry for it. But because of COVID and the pandemic, she's back in the real world. It seems she's on social media. I don't know that she's in sequester, so I don't think there's a chance that she can go back into this game. It doesn't look like that's the case.
I think they actually knew he was going to still quit, and they still sent her home. They just wanted her to go home.
Yeah.
Did he say really he got sick, or did he say that because this is the first I've heard of that spoiler. Okay. So
no, I know it's feed stuff. And a lot of the feeds, I'm still trying to get caught up on it because it's just the house guests talking. And I think that on Friday night, we're going to get the scoop and see, obviously, that diary room moment where he went in there and he said, I want to be done. And I would presume that they say, hang on, I'm just a show producer. I got to get, the head honchos. So and they call in people who are higher ups.
You guys know the talk we get, and I'm not going to talk about production because I want an opportunity when I get home. But
no, I know.
We get this real heavy spiel of do you actually want to do this? Because times are going to get tough where you are going to want to back out, and I was like, I'm never going to quit. So, but maybe celebs don't feel like that. They feel like, you want me, I'm here because I might get paid some money for it. But he was, Rachel, he had a tough time. Like his first week, he hurt his back in the first HOH. He slept, he had to sleep that off. He fell out of the bed. I think he ate all of the cake. So there's,
He did all the cake.
He ate all the cake.
There was no more cake. I mean,
Teddy
I think
Mellencamp said to him on social media, it was great living with you. You kept us laughing, and I hope you got the cake recipe. So I loved that.
I think the fact that there was no more cake that drew the line for him. He's like, if there's no cake, I'm definitely not here. He woke up in the middle of the night like, okay, so I'm going home.
I'm out. He's pushing the diary room
button. Have a cake. And then he hurt his back in the competition, the one they aired last night.
Right.
So, or he injured it, or he was in some kind of pain.
Something that's what he said. Like because he wasn't at the revealing of the times.
Yes.
Because they said that he was like in the diary room, like didn't feel good or got injured or something. So I was wondering if was he sick or was he like just over it?
I want the same. I want the same privileges. Hey, I want the same privileges. I want to walk around the house with the headphones. Yeah. I want to be able to go inside after the comp when I don't feel good. I want all the same privileges. They get it. So, and they will come out and be like, "Oh my God, that was hard," and I'm gonna be like,
"Yeah." And you know what else I want?
For 2 weeks, he did it
with the martini. That's what I really wanted.
Now, let me just say, Carson is so good. I mean, we knew it from television, but he was he is TV gold.
I love
him having
Carson.
that bath and scrubbing off all the bad vibes. And then, his martini.
Carson can do no wrong. I love Carson. Carson can do no, honey, with those cucumbers. And then he rinsed them off. And I love Carson.
Fine.
Carson was like, at least I can still be cute when I'm doing this, okay? Me?
I love him. He's the best. And you know what else? Like all of his diary rooms, they're just gold. Like every single time he's in that diary room, it's just gold.
He is fabulous.
Yeah, I mean, even your little one knows they're funny.
Yeah, exactly.
We got him laughing.
Making a lot of noise in the back.
Carson, though, is not only is he funny, but he knows television and good television. We've seen him for so long on our screens, and I loved that. Even the little joke to Mariah, he was like, he took offense to her saying, everybody's much older than me, and he was, what? He's like, honey, my nose is younger than you, and it's like, oh, okay. People were going, has he had is there plastic surgery? It's like he's even laughing at. He made it a joke. He knows it's just fun. It's part of who he is.
It's a beautiful thing when you can laugh at yourself. People take things so seriously. They take themselves so seriously. Hey, laugh. It's okay. I will laugh at myself all the time because I'm gonna laugh before you laugh.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it. So now Chris Kattan, shaking up the house with his departure, but we had first out Teddy Mellencamp, and then we had Mariah Nagasu go out in the episode that we saw a couple of nights ago. And now we saw, which I thought was an amazing turn of events, the first HOH become our third HOH.
Is Misha
that player that now when they get the opportunity, house guests have to go after her?
See, that's why I feel like Chris Kirkpatrick is playing a good game. That was very smart of him to say, I'm not going to go after Misha and Todrick. I'm not going to go after Cynthia and Carson. I'm going to let them go at each other. I didn't want Mariah to go. I felt like I wanted her to continue to stay. I wanted her to get comfortable. I can understand she wasn't comfortable in the house, but I think with time she would have figured it out because Lamar started playing some game, honey. Lamar turned his switches on. Now, Lamar, to me, I watched the feeds for Lamar. He is hilarious. I thought he didn't have a clue, but his switch turned on. Those knobs turned on, and he's playing. But Chris Kirkpatrick, that was very smart. He's like, I'm going to position myself in the middle. I'm not going to go after either one of these sides. I'm going to let them go after each other. I'll go for an underdog who everybody wants gone. You know, he went for the house target. So he didn't have any blood on his hands, really.
Yeah. Well, I think just knowing sort of what is happening in the house, watching Lamar a couple of even times on the live feeds where he's like, don't cry, it's just a game. It's just, and I thought, oh man, the production's just cringing because they want people to look like they want to be there and to play the game. And so it is exciting when you go, oh, okay, Lamar's now, this is an NBA champion here. He has a competitive streak. Now it's starting to kick in. Okay, all right, now we're seeing a gamer. It's getting real. And that's, I think, exciting. And I remember early on before the season started, I said, I'm going to root a little bit for who were my two? I said Shayna, and then I said Lamar. Yeah. And the only reason I said Shayna is I thought she could cook. And then I remembered that she was a super fan from some of the things that I'd read about her. And we heard Jessica talk about who she follows and the social media stuff. And I thought, well, if she can align up with somebody who either is figuring out the game or somebody like Chris Kirkpatrick, then they can do really big things.
Fan too.
Yeah. Yeah. So the super fans are in this alliance, and I think it is a real solid alliance of two. And I think that's their ride or die in the house. I mean, is there anybody else that you think Chris is closer to or Shane is closer to?
I don't know. I don't think so. I like their relationship, and I also like Carson and Cynthia's relationship. I like their relationship because as soon as Carson and Cynthia saw each other in the house, they were like, Carson said, we have to be best friends. And they really aligned together immediately, and they have really stuck together. Yeah. It's hard to stick with somebody in the house because things change all the time. Things change on the hour, and you're like, oh, okay, I can't even trust you no more. But they have really stuck together. So I like to see that.
Yeah. Okay. Let me get you caught up on some of the things happening in the feeds, because we've got Misha as HOH. Okay. We saw her in the most recent episode on television nominate Carson and Cynthia. And Cynthia is somebody who I just Rachel's now in Alabama. I grew up in Alabama. She was born in Alabama. We were like, okay, we've got Cynthia love here. But we knew it was going to be tricky for her because it's like, you got to come in and navigate this thing and figure out the game, because I don't know that she knew it as well as some other players. No. And then how you align. So I wasn't sure what to expect with her, but so we've got Carson and Cynthia on the block. Listen to who won POV and tell me what you think might happen with this game. Shayna, again, winning Power Veto.
Veto queen.
She's looking like it for this season. And it was cool because she's so proud of it. Like, she's excited to be winning this, to go, I've watched this show, and now I get to say I two-time Power Veto holder on the celebrity season so far. I mean, she's got more to win.
You need to win something for your I don't care who you are. When you are in that house and you can't win a competition, your self-esteem is under the ground. You just feel like I can't accomplish anything in here. Like, who am I? Why am I here? What am I doing? So when you win something, your confidence just goes through the roof. So for her, that's a great position to be in. I mean, it's going to paint a target on her back as a competitive threat, but for her own confidence and for her own self-esteem, that's a great spot. That's a great accomplishment to have, is to win 2 vetoes. Hey, I would love it.
Now, the concern is that if she pulls down somebody, and it sounds like she's leaning toward Carson. I don't know if that's happened yet on the feeds, but from the conversations that I've been able to see so far, she's thinking Carson because she knows his game is over if he's not saved here. What do you think that means? If could Misha put up Chris Kirkpatrick? She's talked about that, and then Shayna's strongest ally. It's risky for him.
I heard Kirkpatrick say on the feeds last night that if Shayna pulls down Carson, put him up and he'll go home. And I was like, what?
I could see it happen. Now, it's tricky with the votes. because you got to look at who's voting now that Chris Kattan's out. We got 5 votes, so all you need are 3 to stay. So he would have Shayna's vote, and then obviously Cynthia would still be on the block. So it's Misha's not voting. It's how I think Carson would vote in favor of Cynthia, right? He can't vote against her. It's tough. I don't know how the other votes might shake out. What does Todd Bridges do?
I think Chris would be done. I mean,
I think he's gone if he goes up on the block.
If he's on the block, he's gone. Like, nobody's going to keep, and plus they're not going to keep him over Cynthia. Like, why would you? He won an HOH already, and he's too much of a threat to all their other games.
Yeah, he's strategic. He's playing the game. He knows the game. He can win competitions. Why would you keep him? Somebody that's like Xavier being on the block 4 times in a row and keeping him. And then,
did these contestants learn nothing? So as much as Chris goes, I want to have Carson and Cynthia as a duo to take the heat off of this alliance that he's made with Shayna. Maybe it is better for him to avoid the block. I mean, that was my strategy. Don't get nominated because anything can happen if you end up on the block.
Okay. I got to grab the door. It's just a delivery.
Yeah. Okay. Amazon. No, go. How cool is this? We're talking to Tiffany.
I know. I'm freaking out. I'm like, obviously like a huge Tiffany fan. And we talked all summer about how much we were obsessed with Tiffany. And like, she's even more cool in person.
I agree.
Scheming behind my back.
We are.
Yeah, we were.
We were just saying how we are so happy to have you part of the alliance. We made this little secret alliance that you get to join because, we watched you and we saw you in the diary room and the feeds, and you go, I know I like Tiffany, and I know that this is somebody outside this house that I want to know, and then to chat with you like this and to see how real and down to earth you are.
In person. That's what
I know. We're like, yes.
and we were huge fans, but it's just so cool to meet you. You're so chill and fun to talk to, and it's just, I love it.
And this is why your house guests knew they couldn't put you in those final 2. They couldn't let you go to the final 2, Tiffany. I mean, because of this, you were going to get too much love from the jury.
Oh gosh. But here's Kai. Kai wanted that, Oh, do we hate him together? Okay, sorry.
So is there any season 23? Wow. And that's wild because I was on 3. Any thing that since the game has ended that you were surprised about, with maybe friendships forming, relationships budding?
Me and Big D, first of all. My
Spill the tea.
Listen, I love Big D in the house. I did not know that he did not like me so much. As good as I am at being able to tell how people feel about me, I did know that he was not a fan of mine. But coming out of the house, I cannot believe how much we love each other. I just really do love Big D. I believe he loves me too, unless he's still playing Big Brother with me.
We'll see. Yeah. I mean, we don't have diary rooms to prove that he's saying something else behind your back, but But I think that is something that is interesting and unique about Big Brother is you play this game together and you might be rivals. And then after it's over, you go, wow, I respect what you did and how you played. And then you can form this friendship.
Yeah. And I saw the hate that he was getting, and I saw the hate that he was getting because of me. And I do know that mental health is a very big thing out here. And I never want to be the reason why someone is unstable or unhealthy. And so I did not want to join the bandwagon. And I know how emotional and how sensitive Big D is. And so I wanted to have a conversation with him to find out, could we move past the season? Could we move past the show where there's some things we could learn and grow together with, because they were eating him alive. And I, on the outside, was seeing how he was being affected. And I would hate for someone that I know personally that I could have maybe helped fallen, they go and fall into a depression or something like that. So I was like, I'm not going to ostracize you. And I don't want anyone else in the cast to ostracize you. And I don't want you to get chewed up by fans. I hope that you can take this moment that you experienced and learn something from it, learn from yourself and grow. And so I think that really helped him to be embraced and because I embraced him, some people will just learn from being embraced. If I would have pushed him away, he may not have even looked at the ways of his errors and tried to understand where he may have gone wrong and why the public felt the way they felt about him. But because we talked about it, I embraced him, I loved him. I think that allowed him to say, let me take a look at the way I handled myself. So I think it helped. I am a forgiving person. I'm an understanding person because I've been through a lot of things. I've experienced a lot of things. I'm not a perfect person. I have not always handled things the right way. I've not always treated people the way I have now. I'm 41. So,
Hey, 44 here. So younger than me. I loved the 41 years. Those were good.
Hey, but Jason,
take me back. I'm about to turn 45 this summer. Listen,
I don't know if y'all heard me in the house. The YTs, the young tenders, they are still after me. I'm still single out here. So, they don't, they never really ask me how old I am. And I just never really tell. So I'm just going, They're like,
hey, I'm casting a dating show right now, Tiffany.
Okay. My name's Tiffany Mitchell. I'm from Birmingham, Michigan. It's a little suburb outside of Detroit. I'm single. I do have a son, but we don't have to worry about him. He's about to go to college. I'm single and ready to mingle, but you do have to have a little cha-ching.
Yeah.
You are on the show.
Cast. I love
That's
it.
a casting tape. Send it
that
in.
Was a great tape.
Done. Yeah, would you do other reality shows? Maybe Rachel gets you on a dating show or a Survivor. Do you have any aspirations, or is it just I want to go back and play Big Brother again?
I have never watched any other show besides Big Brother.
Oh,
but I know I'm so lame. Well,
no.
That's how much of a Big Brother fan I am. Like, that was it. They're like, you were, I was like, no, I don't know anybody. I don't know you. I'm so sorry. You're from, oh, okay. Oh, you won. Oh, good. Yeah. But I still don't know. I am Big Brother diehard, but doing Big Brother just made me so comfortable I've always been comfortable being me, but I think also recognizing that the public just really does accept me for me. I think I would be comfortable doing reality TV because I'm most comfortable being me. Now, if you give me a script and I've got to pretend like I'm somebody else, I don't know that I could do that, but I can be me. So if you want me, yeah. So as long as I'm me, I'm there.
I love it.
And that's what we want. And that's why you're
maybe we'll see Tiffany
TV
on something soon.
You this is amazing.
Podcast.
It's happening. Let's talk about a couple of things that we brought it up just a minute ago that I loved. We saw a martini with Carson. I love that Cynthia mentioned, she wanted her favorite drink, a peach Bellini. Did they give you any wine or beer or anything your season?
That was it. Beer and wine. You get that at the corner store. I needed some tequila.
I think the celebrities have we don't know for sure, but I think they got a
That's why we don't get tequila.
Because of me? No, that is not true. Why? I didn't even do anything.
Oh, no.
I listen, I gave them a very successful striptease moment in the HOH room when I was like all over Brendan after my tequila. I made great television with that tequila. So,
Oh, gosh.
You ruined it.
I don't know what I did.
They gave us White Claws, gave us beer. Now, I'll tell you, Derek X had the best beer because he requested his own favorite beer. They found it and the percent was like 8%. I was like, bruh, let me get one of those cans.
Nice.
So he's a craft beer connoisseur.
Right, that's the trick. You have to be able to know what to put on your HOH menu.
You do. You definitely do.
Is there anything that you took into the house that maybe we didn't know about? Was there, because I went back and looked at your CBS profile, and you were going to take a journal in, and you couldn't live without your cell phone, which obviously that doesn't happen. And then you brought in recipes, but only in here.
I didn't use them. I did not cook one time. I think the most I ever made was avocado toast.
Who cooked?
Ozza, Big D, and Derek X. Ozza, in this order, it was Ozza, Derek X until he left, and Big D. They fed me. I lost 10 pounds when I left that house because Ozza was not cooking for me. I was like, girl, I gotta come to DC. So I'm gonna have to something. Can you Amazon me some food?
She told us that she's putting out a recipe book and tells people how to make the puff puffs.
She is amazing. Ozza can just think of something, and I'm like, girl, this stuff is in your head. I'm impressed. I don't even wish to do it. I just want her to cook for me.
You mentioned your son, him watching you on your season. What was that like for him, and how, now that you're back in the real world, how's he feeling?
I wish I was him. This kid is living his best life. Oh, he goes to school. He's like famous at school. I can tell. He comes home. Listen, now he gets up in the morning and he'll come hug me and tell me he's leaving. He smells good. He's wearing cologne. He's got his hair picked out. I'm like, what is going on at school? He comes home, he walks different. And I'm like, they like you at school, don't they? He's like, yeah, oh yeah. He is living he travels with me. He knows the whole cast. He meets people, and he's so cool about it. He's never overly excited. They're like, they're excited to meet him. He's like, hey, what's up? His favorite person is Alyssa. He loves Alyssa. Alyssa's like, look at, and so this is that's how I know. This is why he likes Alyssa. Alyssa calls him a stud. He is living his best life. He loved it. I kept asking him, like, so who'd you like, and what did you think about this? And he'll go, I mean, it was okay. I'm like, did you even watch me? He's like, yeah, I watched you. He's living his best life. I wish I was him. He gets all the perks. My money goes to Christian. What's not to love?
It's a good life. It's a good life.
I'm telling you, I'm like, boy, this is an amazing. Somebody should have did this for me. I'm like, Ma, why didn't you go on Big Brother? So I could have been,
No, that's true. And then, you get all the influencer stuff for your kids now too. So like, I get packages for my son and my daughter, and I'm just like, man, this is amazing. I'm like obsessed with it. Like, give me more
that
kids.
Stuff didn't start until long after us.
That's true.
Social media existed, and our season was, even season 1 of Big Brother was on the live feeds. You had to download the Real Player that I think was something tied into America Online, which does that even exist anymore? I think in some capacity it does, but it was dial-up modems, and social media was so new. So thankfully we skated past that, because it is tough coming out to social media commentary about your game and about you, and about people attack everybody's families. It's tough.
It is. When we are just regular people, it's like, why do you think because I was on this show that when I read the things that you say about me, I'm not affected? Mm-hmm. And is it that you just really want me to be negatively affected? Do you want me to fall into a depression? You want me to wish I was dead? Like, people are so cruel. They're so harsh. They say things like we're robots because we were on a show. No, we're still humans. We're still people. Like, it doesn't make you better than me because you're saying mean things about me and I didn't play the game the way you thought I should. Like, how are you helping the situation?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard, but it does get easier. And I will say that, like, I came out of it from, like, Twitter was the only big thing back then. And it was really, really difficult, but like, it does get better and it does get easier. And like, the comments will like, the mean comments will stop. So
let me ask you a question, Rachel. What do you think it was easier for you? Look, not me being the interviewer. So
yeah,
I love it. Go for it.
Easier for you coming out of the house because you had Brendan and you never had to like, I know I had like a separation anxiety, which I've never had before in my life. And I think that's why the BB23 cast keeps coming back together, because it's just, we just feel comfortable together. So by you having Brendan, when you came out and you guys never being apart, do you think that kind of helped you navigate in the real world after the house, because you had somebody who had that same shared experience with you and you guys were like a therapy for each other?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that like that definitely helped. But Brendan and I had our share of scandals and situations right after the show. So I think it was hard because we were under the microcosm as like a couple.
Yeah.
So like it's even harder when you're a couple, because I mean, maybe not harder, but it's just as hard when you're a couple.
You're being critiqued and watched by everybody.
And then you're having these girls hit your husband up or your boyfriend up every day that wouldn't normally been hitting up. And these guys are saying stuff to you in your DMs and like, well, Twitter and on your Twitters at the time. But like you have people coming at you in all directions. So I think like after the first Big Brother, it was really, really hard. But after my second Big Brother, it was like a totally different experience. And I basically learned like the same people that said the bad things about me in season 12 were like my biggest fans in season 13. So that was like a great learning experience. And so I always tell people like, these fans are like a little fickle because they're going to like love you, hate you, want to judge you for this, want to judge you for that. But it's all about what it's you. Like your family knows you, your friends know you, your BB23 cast knows you. Like that's what's important. Like what everyone thinks about us is not, who cares? Like at the end of the day, what are they going to do for us? Nothing, We're probably not even ever going to meet them. And if you do meet them, they're like your best friends in person. So you're good.
You never find somebody.
Yeah, we should make them tell us their like social media name, because then we're like, oh, skater girl 18. Yeah. We know what you said about.
Yeah. Oh, the baby just exited Rachel. The baby was like, bye.
He turned it off. Tiffany, as you're looking at this cast, Celebrity Big Brother, anybody, that you mentioned that Chris Kirkpatrick, you think is playing a good game, that you're saying, I'm just really rooting for. Is it Cynthia alone, as you hinted at her, or is there somebody else that you just go, this is that person that I think could take and win this whole game? We just want and you've got a couple of weeks in, so some knowledge here. Who's your prediction to take it?
Honestly, I do think that Misha and Todrick are two good competitors. Okay. And they would have to watch out for Shayna, because she's going to win the power of veto. She's a veto queen.
Time after time. Yep.
Yeah, because Misha and Todrick were neck and neck with the competition. If she wouldn't have won it, then he would have won that HOH comp. And I think they both understand the game, and they're competitive enough to try to win each time. I don't know where Cynthia's strengths are as far as competing and what she would be able to win, but that also may help her stay around a while. And Misha's competitiveness which has already painted a target on her back, but I don't know who I see. Yeah. I don't know who I see winning this season. I really don't.
It's anybody's game.
It'll mess around and be tied.
Well, you know what? Somebody, I was just reading something on there, and that's what people were saying. They were like, watch, him just sort of float into the end, and then you look up and you've got him in the final two, final three, and wins a competition, and then picks somebody and goes on, and maybe he doesn't win it up against some of these players.
Who would get rid of Todd? Why?
Yeah. I also think,
Jason, I'm gonna tell you, I better not see Lamar go home anytime soon.
Okay. He's gold on those feeds. And you know what?
Love
Tiffany,
Lamar.
I'll bring it back full circle here because he had a talk with Mariah before she left the Big Brother house under the HOH of Chris Kirkpatrick, that second eviction. But they talked, it was really powerful. And it kind of speaks to some of the things that we started this conversation with, talking about the cookout. But they had a really powerful conversation about, you know, just how she felt different in this house, and, you know, and discussing some of the things for him, you know, as a Black man. And then for her, as you know, her background, and even looking and thinking as an Olympian, there was a time when she wouldn't have been able to skate on the world stage.
Yeah.
They had some powerful talks.
They did. I liked his support for her, the way he was checking to make sure that she was okay. You know, Lamar is very compassionate. I think he's been through a lot of things, so he can identify and see struggles in other people because he's experienced some things. And I just think that he is genuinely compassionate and understanding of situations that people are going through. I liked his support for her very much. I did not know I was going to be a Lamar fan, and everybody knows that Todrick's my friend. So I just, without saying, I'm rooting for Todrick, you know, like, cause I know that he is a fan, but I am also scared for him because I'm like, I think it's smart that he tied himself next to Misha because she is a competitor, but I also think that he should be playing a better social game in building strong relationships with more than just one person, because if Misha is gone, then I don't know who Todrick is going to have. So that is a flaw in his game for me. I just naturally am a social person, so I was never going to be stuck with one person. So I would like to see him build relationships with other people. But Lamar is like, don't take Lamar from me, please. Please don't take Lamar from me. I need Lamar on the feeds because he just has me cracking. I look for him. I'm like, is Lamar? Why is there not a camera on him?
Yeah, he's great. And you know, and he talked about the Olympics. So he and Mariah had that connection as they had that conversation. That was a big deal for him. And then, you know, he said just behind being drafted into the NBA and then winning a championship. And he's had a tough road. I mean, we've mentioned it before on this podcast with his health and, you know, an overdose, and then not knowing at one point in time if he was going to live, and then to have to recover physically and coming back from strokes and all of the things that happened after that. And then to see him healthy and today able to compete in something like this. And
he seems to be taking it so well. Like he's not stressing out. I didn't know if he was even going to stay. I was like, is Lamar going to stay? But he seems to be adapting well. And I like that. I think that this is something totally out of his element, something new for him. And it's an experience. I think just going into the Big Brother house changes your perspective on life. Anybody who does it. I explained it as I was already an out of the box thinker that I thought I was, but going into the house, being around so many people who are so different from me, opened the box even bigger. And when you come out of the house, the box doesn't close back. I can't unthink and unlearn and open my eyes to the things that I learned about life and people and my perspective coming out. So now I'm even more open to being objective about my views in life. And I think that will help him because this is a different experience for him than all of them, but he seems to be adapting very well. And I love to see it.
Yeah. All right. I mean, it's certainly interesting. I was so pumped with this initial announcement of the cast and to watch them play the game. It's been thrilling because with the pace of a celebrity season, they have to play hard. And so it's really fun to watch.
Are you guys not jealous of the staircase?
Oh well, until Shayna fell down it a couple of times. So
yeah, that's true. I'm just jealous of their whole house, like everything about the sauna. Like, I mean, put me in the sauna, and you know, it's so nice. And the gym,
glorious.
that they're in the gym half of the time.
I am definitely jealous. The island in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I'm like, just let me back in so I can just see. I just want to walk around.
Yeah,
it's very posh for the celebrities.
Yes, very posh. Are they getting a new house? I heard they're getting a new house.
I
After
doubt
this celebrity season?
So I feel like if they got a new house, they would probably just like change the set or like the setup, right? Like
gut the
current
locations.
I think I heard that something was bought and sold
to go to a different stage.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Don't listen to me.
Wow.
No.
So
I mean,
if this comes to be, then we know we heard it first from Tiffany,
right? And but the stage is so big because like they could just like all they'd have to do is move around the green rooms. If they moved like where the audience used to sit, they could like open that part up and make the house bigger or smaller, or I don't know. There's also so much that goes into like the camera placements. You guys have you seen behind the scenes, Tiffany?
No, I'm so jealous. Like
I haven't either.
I want to see.
You haven't, Jason?
No. And I worked on that lot on another show, and
I feel like I know what it looks like. I could hear high heels walking behind the wall, and I was like, "That's very creepy." Can you put on some gym shoes? I don't know whose high heels those were. I don't want to offend anybody in production. If you were a fan of mine, I'm a fan of the heels. I was just saying I can hear them. That's all.
Yeah, it is weird when people are watching you through the two-way mirrors all around the house, and you go, I know there are people in the walls while I'm changing or living my life
in the back.
Yeah. So please silence your phone, camera person.
Yeah, and coughing and anything. So the backstage is like where all those windows are. There's like a hallway, and they have
it's all painted black, or it's got black curtains on it, right?
It's all black, and there's
I envision it. I've never seen it.
And there's black curtains, and they wear black, and they have a black thing to like cover up any light, and then it's basically like they have it rigged so the cameras can move from like one side of the screen to the other to like the other camera thing, and then like.
But the cameras are on a track, right? Is that what they told? They said
because I can hear them roll.
Yeah, they roll.
And then like they have the diary room is like in a separate room. So like that they have like hallways behind both of the doors and the windows and the rooms, and then they have like the outside area is a totally different like hallway, and then they have like the diary room. If you walk in through the back of the stage, you walk through like offices and stuff. And then the diary room is like in its own like section.
Okay.
And so like whoever's sitting there behind, and they have like a million like people watching us and like taking notes and everything. It's
so nice. Yes.
It's cool. It's like the producers on that show are like amazing. My friend was a producer, and she said it's like going to production boot camp, basically.
Oh, yeah. Because you've never worked harder and longer, because it's like they don't know that we might stay up till the sun comes up in some sort of game discussion. That's something that always happened.
And they have to like take notes on it.
I might want to do that. I might need to call somebody.
Yeah.
Yes. You have to, if you can, you have to try to go to see the back part because it's just so cool.
I went to a finale one time, and I think this was when the audiences, but did get to go when they had after the finale. I can't remember which season it was. It was right when the house was new, because we had a different house for those early seasons. Oh. And we went in the backyard, and I was like, can I step in the house? No, you cannot go. And so that's as far as I went, but I saw that backyard, and I was like, this is huge compared to our backyard.
Yeah, it's huge. And they have like more areas. So I can't imagine like them switching the sound stage, but like they could probably redesign it. Like they could like, if they took down walls, they could like open it up, or it's just like, but it's a huge sound stage. I mean, like they have like a full area for, when you hear the people in the backyard, like building sets. Yeah. So they have like, that's on our sound stage. So like they have that full area for the sound stage. Then they have like a giant room with like costumes and set stuff and like
I can just imagine. Yeah, because when we go to like other, like our roulette, what was that? The game room that we played, that was in a different place. So we had to like walk out, go through all of these tunnels, and we could see all of the storage and stuff like that.
Wow. Yeah, I wondered how you got to those places.
Build the like I want to see them build one of the competitions. Like we could hear them. I wanted to. Oh God.
And these people are the best in the business. They put these things up in like hours or a day. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Because I was scared of that dang on wall. I was like, it's gonna fall.
No, they're the best in the business. Like literally, like, I mean, and they have like people checking for safety and people checking for this, that, and the other thing. But like, I mean, just to think about, like, that's a full like set, like an amusement park set, like they're putting up in a day. To get built for a competition that they're gonna have to take down so that we can complain about not having our backyard time.
Wait a minute, this is another thing. The celebrities get their laundry done. Oh, like their the privileges. I want them to suffer like we did.
We didn't even have a dryer on our season. We washed our no, I'm sorry. Maybe we did have a dryer. We washed everything by hand in a bucket in the backyard though.
Oh my God, that's right.
Yeah.
You did.
They gave us a washboard and that's what we did. I think maybe we had a dryer because we didn't have to hang up stuff. They didn't want to see that, but
well,
no,
hey,
it was
peanut butter and jelly, not slop. So I don't want to hear it from you.
I agree that that's better. But if you eat it for a week, try it. It's like slop happens. You can't, your mouth doesn't even water anymore. You can't even eat it. You can't get it down.
Me and Rachel are not buying it. No. Live on slop for a week and then come back and tell us.
I don't want to do it. I absolutely don't know. I'm telling you, it's not good. And I watched everybody almost gag the first time they eat it and then they have to live on it for a week.
Hey, let me tell you, Derek X brought in all kinds. We had slop chips, slop cookies. Azza made slop soup. We had every different kind of recipe for slop. It was all still terrible, but it wasn't just slop.
That's good. Yeah, you got to get creative. And sometimes
I never want to see steel rolled oats ever again. No.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said about peanut butter and jelly. And now I got kids and they're fans of it. I mean, which, who's got a kid who doesn't like some peanut butter and jelly? And so we eat it. We'll have it. I don't mind it anymore. It's been 20 years this summer though. So I've it's water under the bridge.
Oh, 20 years.
Amazing. What were you, 15?
25. And then I turned 45 this summer. Yeah. It's wild. Yeah. So,
wild.
I mean, I turned 45 in June and our season started. We moved into the Big Brother house right after July 4th because I remember being in the hotel near the lot there and you couldn't open the window in the hotel room, but a little bit. And so I pulled back the curtains and I watched fireworks out over, I think you're near Universal there in Hollywood.
I watched fireworks out of the hotel too. I was like, oh, this is my 4th of July.
Yeah. Yep. And then I think we moved in maybe on the 5th, like the next day we were moving into the house.
Oh, wow. You guys.
But now because of the protocols, I mean, it's really hard for these, seasons where you had to be quarantined for so long and all of that. Like that is no joke.
PTSD. I don't want to walk into a hotel and just see a bed and that's it. I need a living room. I really do.
Yeah. Because we flew in, you were there a day, and then we moved into the house. I think it was fast, but that's 2002 versus 2021, and now 2022.
11 days.
Yeah, that I was like, what is season 11? I didn't know. Yeah, 11 days. I thought it might have even been the full 14. I didn't know. Wow.
That's what they did with All Stars, but they put them in houses, so it was so they didn't have to stay in a hotel room for the 2 weeks of quarantine, 16 days or something.
See, look at all this stuff, Tiffany, that she's got as insight.
I love I think I'm more fascinated by production now than I am by actually like playing the game, because I just feel like it's so interesting, like all the things.
That's why talking, I'm like, I think I might want to do production. Like, hey,
I love it.
That will get me out to Cali.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and that's what I did for 5 years after Big Brother. I just said, I like the weather here. I love it. It's cool. And you guys had to, people living in Todrick's house. I ended up knowing somebody and he needed a roommate. And so I just was like, I slipped right in, and this person was leaving town as I was, ready to move into town. But for a couple of days, I mean, I slept on the couch till the roommate had moved out. And then I was doing casting, like, Rachel, you're still doing it.
Rachel, give me a job, girl.
Yeah.
Help us.
Yeah. So she's in it. I don't know anybody anymore.
Yeah, you'd be good at it, Tiffany. I'll definitely get you a job. They're hiring. We need so many casting people nowadays because like there's so many shows and so many streaming networks and so many like people that need cast, and so like it's just I'm consistently working. It's very nice.
And once you know how the process goes because you've lived it, you can explain it a lot better to somebody who is a potential contestant for a show.
100%. Hey, speaking of, I do have to jump because I have an 11:30 meeting, but it's so
we
nice
all do too. Yeah, some casting stuff, very important.
Yes.
Yeah. Her people will call your people about the.
Yes, absolutely.
Tiffany.
Text me,
Tiffany,
and I will actually think I know of someone that is looking for a job right now. So you would be amazing as a recruiter.
Come through. Rachel, do you have my number?
I'll get it to her. Yeah.
Get her my number. I love you guys. This was so fun.
We do too. Tiffany,
fun.
thank you. This has been a blast. Wait, when Rachel's leaving, I think there's a knock at somebody's door. I don't know where it is or the ring. You had to go for a minute ago. Tiffany, you had a call from I guess Amazon was dropping off something. Is Chris Kattan showing up at somebody's house? Is that him there knocking on your door? He's just looking for a house to live in. He wandered out of the Big Brother house and him and Kato Kaelin.
Chris Kattan is at the hospital getting his back together.
I hope health to him. We loved him on the show. I'm going to miss him, but it's been an amazing celebrity season. And Tiffany, your insight's great. We're going to root for Lamar with you and Cynthia, and can't wait to see what happens. It's a good one. And thanks again. We really appreciate your time, Tiffany.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Yeah, we hooked her up. She hooked us up with an interview, and we hooked her up with a job.
Yay!
Rachel, you did it.
That's how you do it.
Thank you, Tiffany, so much. That was so fun.